Welcome to our Mega Trends Bits and Bytes series. In this video, we'll be looking at how to future-proof your business through digital transformation. My name's Andrew Sykes, and I'm a partner of RSM in Canberra and a director of the Business Advisory Division. I'm also a tech sector leader for RSM nationally. Today, I'd like to introduce you to James Palmer of Palm Branch Group. James is Director of Engineering Consultancy firm specialised in aviation operations, environmental engineering and surveillance operations, which also involves ICT consulting and management. Thank you, James, for agreeing to be part of this conversation.
Thank you.
Thanks. So, James, would you like to share a little bit about yourself, a brief background of your company and your role?
Yeah, sure. We've had Palm Branch Group for nearly a year now, and prior to that, we've got a sub company called Palm Branch Engineering, which, as you've described, Andrew, works within defence and government in the ICT space and in engineering. Palm Branch Group was built to be a overarching company for a couple of different technology areas and business areas that we operate in, and we've been very successful within the defence and government space, and we currently do a lot of work for the space industry as well, with the Australian Space Agency, and also with the Department of Defence.
Yeah, space is interesting. How are you finding growth in space industry at the moment?
It is exceptionally fast. It's a very exciting area to be a part of. There is a lot of opportunity, and it's really going to be the next big frontier. For technical development, and also I think it will pave the way for, well, it already is paving the way, probably for a lot of research and development to go straight into commercialization. And I think with the current level of interest from both the private sector and academia, and also government, I think a lot of those areas, a lot of that work is going to just exponentially increase, and there's a lot of great aspects for everyone in that industry sector.
Yeah, so we understand that NASA is really exiting low Earth orbit, and the commercialization is there. What's the opportunity for Australia in that low Earth orbit, and our advantages there?
I think we've got a lot of opportunity to develop our own sovereign capability within the space sector. Historically, not just Australia, but a lot of other countries have had to rely on the United States or the UK, for example, for a lot of services through the internet. Whereas we are now embarking on a lot of new programs to allow us to have that capability at home. There's a lot of ability, there's a lot of work that's being undertaken in the small sat and CubeSat space, which is a lot of very small, cost-effective satellite systems that are being able to be launched and are much smaller, much quicker and easier to build, and can do much the same as what more conventional geostationary satellites can do. But not just that, I think also we have a lot of great opportunity to develop our capabilities within ICT and engineering and in academia, because this is an industry sector. The space sector is something that really in Australia hasn't had an opportunity to really take off, pardon the pun, until now. Where it is for us, especially at Palm Branch Group, it's really opened up a lot of new doors for us. And we've been enjoying working collaboratively with a lot of other businesses and with government as well.
So, like so many sectors, it's been driven by digital transformation. What does digital transformation mean to you and for Palm Branch Group?
Yeah, so digital transformation, I believe, is a great opportunity for all Australian entities to keep up with current technological trends. And that makes everyone's lives easier and more transparent in the long run, especially in the current global climate. If you look at the current pandemics that the world has been living through, technology change is simply needed, and it's needed all the time. For us as an ICT engineering company, we love anything that makes our lives easier and more efficient. Internet of Things and artificial intelligence are going to explode in the market as we need to keep up. And for us, it's a super exciting time to be in the tech industry.
Yeah. So if we took that, and I know that space has been the leader in the past. I think at one point in the US, 1 in 10 jobs were involved in space.
Yeah.
If we're going to see that grow in Australia, what kind of areas would that apply to in general business? I mean, where do you see some of the flow on and some of the digital transformation or transformation moving from your industry out into general business?
Yeah, so I think that's an interesting question. I believe that the whole space industry has the ability to touch almost every industry and every business in one way or another. If you look at any paper-based departments that are labour or time intensive, and customer-facing businesses or agencies can benefit from this sort of digital transformation or upgrade. Also, departments with older legacy systems that don't integrate with more modern areas of business. For example, federal government level agencies that could do with the uplift can quite easily, will easily do this, and the projects and programs associated can run really smoothly. And also that can, it can help them with investing quite heavily in automation, and also a lot of their processes and converting or upgrading their digital offerings, be it perhaps, iPad apps, bots on websites, artificial intelligence. They all save money by, putting these digital services to their customers. And it makes their turnaround times quicker as well. So everyone wins.
Yeah. Have you got some examples of where you've seen some really good digital transformation in business?
Yeah, I have. So a good example would be taking a government agency and it has a paper-based system. You move it into a virtualized arena. So what that allows the company to do is they digitize all of their processes and they automate all of their workflows. What that means is that at the front end for the customer, so running, for example, a front end government website will allow a customer to interact more efficiently with the services that government entity offers.
Does that also result in savings because you're pushing out some of that form processing to the ultimate customer rather than the business doing it themselves?
Most definitely, and I think, having said that, there have been times where the savings were not realised, but I think nowadays, as the technology is becoming more efficient, is beginning to be more AI, artificial intelligence integrated. There is a lot more savings realisation and a lot more return on investment.
Yeah, I would say in your industry, everything that goes up into space has to be lightweight and small and be necessary. There's some lessons there for business in terms of how to design their systems and processes. Do you see any of that flowing through?
Yeah, most definitely. And I think even you can learn from, I think now that, digital transformation has been around for a little while. So, and I think now it's at a really good maturity level where we can reflect back on the previous digital transformation programs and see where we can improve it. And we know that it's technically feasible. Okay, we know that there is a baseline. We know how to go from old to new. We know how to migrate. We know how to do that transition. But I think what we need to do is, now is to really understand the business operation, and then on top of that, see where we can further enhance and further automate. And I think that's where you're really going to see some really good benefits realization coming out of transformation.
Yeah. We have seen, we've seen software as a service become standard. We've seen move to cloud become standard, and companies no longer running their own servers, move everything to the cloud. Does this make automation easier?
It does. There's a fine line in a way as well, but obviously bear in mind, right? The cloud is literally someone else's server, but it's a service that's provided to you. So you are no longer assuming the level of risk. Ordinarily, the cloud provider is assuming that level of risk. So the automation level can increase. The level of service and services that can be provided can increase as well. It depends on who you decide to partner with, but most definitely. But I think also that does boil back to understanding what your business requirements are, and understanding what if you are services based, understanding what your customers' requirements are as well.
Yeah, we do hear the term sovereign thrown around a bit at the moment. If I'm a business and I'm looking to move my data to the cloud, how important is the location of the data and the security aspects? Do I really need to be concerned if it's hosted in Australia or offshore?
I would say that you need to be very informed. Certainly not concerned, because there are a lot of services worldwide that are ultimately safe. And however, you do need to have a good understanding about this. If you intend on engaging with a cloud service for your business and your operations, you should have at least an understanding of who that operator is, what are those operators' influences, and what is the strategic intent of that operator. And that, I think, also depends on the work that you are doing in the industry sector that you work in. So it's interesting, the whole concept with sovereign capability, because now more than ever, in Australia, we do need to increase our sovereign capability in this space.
So do you see more of, say, locally based Australian-owned data centres becoming more popular? Is that a trend in business that you see?
Yes, it is certainly a trend, and it has certainly been. It is certainly something that is a new arena within Australia that has, over the last, say, 5 to 10 years, ever increased. Which is a great thing, and I think also with the emergence of the space industry and the associated private and government areas, that's going to become even more important now. And I think in Australia we're in a very unique position to be total trailblazers to integrate the space sector with the cloud, with a sovereign data center, or data centers, or groups of data centers within Australia.
Yeah. So as well as advising on automation and digital transformation to your clients, are there some areas you've applied it in your own business?
Yes, we have. So we're currently embarking on a couple of programs to develop our own data center and secure operations center. That is, it's dual purpose, so it does satisfy requirements for our group company, but also is a service that we can provide to other businesses and other government entities as well. And that is a service that will be across the country over time as a strategic process.
Okay, thank you, James. And finally, what advice would you give to any businesses or companies that are looking to start out on the digital transformation journey?
My main piece of advice would be make sure that you have an understanding of what your requirements are, and also understand what your customer requirements are. And I can't emphasize that enough, because there are a lot of great things you can do with cloud, with transformation, with those sorts of services. but also you need to be very precise about what you intend to do with them. And otherwise, if you aren't, then the ramifications can be rather costly for you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time today, James. To anyone watching this, we'd like to invite you to subscribe to the RSM Mega Trends series and watch out for more up and coming videos. You can see the link at the end of this video or head to the RSM website and subscribe to our Mega Trends series. Thank you very much for your time today, James.
Thanks, Andrew.